Hello there, geeks and gamers. I'm Marc the Cyborg, and today I'd like to talk to you about some of the sexy new release games coming out in July 2020.
I used to wonder how you did it.
If you've ever wanted to step into the Iron Man boots of Tony Stark, this is the closest you're going to get for a while. I've been asking the military, and they won't give me any solid info on when those will be widely available. Any VR game runs the risk of feeling like a bit of a novelty, and the PlayStation Move controllers aren't exactly fantastic, but the developers at Camouflage have worked hard to nail the sensation of free flight, and the results are actually quite impressive. There's a free demo available on PSN, and while I personally would have swapped the controls for the thrusters and repulsor blasts, as firing with the move button feels weirder than pulling the trigger would be, the game feels pretty great. The story also seems like it has a lot of effort put into it, which is also refreshing for a VR title. Whether or not the novelty will last for the entire campaign remains to be seen, but I've been impressed with what I've played so far. So if you've got a PlayStation VR and have any love for our boy Tony, be sure to look into some reviews for Marvel's Iron Man VR when it launches on July 3rd.
Princess Peach's castle has been seized by Origami. The sudden appearance of King Ali, the Origami King, has thrown the world into disarray.
Super Mario's RPG spin-off, Paper Mario, returns with a new entry on Nintendo Switch, the Origami King. As you all know, my taste in JRPGs is for the decidedly more deep weeb-inspired variety, so I don't know if I'll be playing this one personally. But Paper Mario's art style and gameplay variety make it look very interesting. I'm certain Jeremy will be playing it, so maybe we can talk the boss man himself into making a review. Neon Abyss is a neat-looking dungeon crawler, which I covered in the Future Game Show recap. A demo was released on Steam, and I did play it. While the controls take some getting used to, with the right stick aiming feeling a bit weird in a side-scrolling perspective, the aesthetic is really cool, and the randomly generated dungeons will certainly give you tons of content to play. If I'm being honest, I'd recommend you check out Enter the Gungeon first if you're interested in this game, as the top-down perspective makes the twin-stick gameplay feel a lot better. But if you're into pixel art shooters, check out some reviews of Neon Abyss on July 14th when it's coming out on Steam, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch. This sexy title from Persona Studio is not a Persona game, but it's a very unique blend of story-based dating sim and a puzzle platformer. You play as Vincent, a 32-year-old man in a serious relationship with a woman named Catherine with a K. After a night of boozing with the boys, Vincent ends up hooking up with another woman named Catherine with a C. Vincent has to spend his days navigating his complex love life, but his nights are spent trying to survive a recurring nightmare in which he is a sheep climbing block stacks. A series of mysterious deaths have seen young single men dying in their beds, so there may be something supernatural going on, and it may be connected to the nightmares Vincent is having. The full-body edition of Catherine has been out on PS4 and Vita for a while, and features a new possible love interest for Vincent to pursue. It will be coming to Nintendo Switch on July 7th, and picking it up may act as a hint to Atlus that they should be bringing the Persona games to Switch. Catherine Classic and Persona 4 are both on Steam as well, so if you'd like to show Atlus they should be bringing stuff to Steam, I'd be your friend. I covered this game in the recent PC Gaming Show recap and didn't realize that Story of Seasons is the new name for the Harvest Moon series. This remake of the 2003 Game Boy Advance game should provide hours of farm grinding, relationship building, and adorable characters, so I know what I'm going to be getting for X-Ray Girl when she gives up on Animal Crossing. Disclosure warning, I'm a big fan of Hideo Kojima. Metal Gear Solid was my favorite game through my teen years and is still one of my favorite series of all time. I really like the Zone of the Enders games, and PT is still one of the scariest things I've ever experienced. However, because Death Stranding came out when I was working on reviews of both Modern Warfare and Jedi Fallen Order for the main Geeks and Gamers channel, I totally fell off the game at Chapter 3 and never got back to it. On July 14th, the previously PS4 exclusive will be coming to PC, where I'll get to play it in a crisp 60 frames a second. I've heard the gameplay really picks up after Chapter 3, so maybe I'll get through the game and make a review for the channel. If I have a word of warning to keep in mind, it's that Norman Reedus and the Incredible Fetus, the actual title of the game, is a weird game. It has a very interesting world, incredible performance capture, and interesting environmental traversal, but fundamentally it's a game about delivering packages. That being said, I encourage the PC gamers out there to pick it up if they'd like to see more PS4 exclusives come to PC, as while this version is being published by 505 Games rather than Sony themselves, solid sales might show Sony that they're leaving money on the table by keeping games exclusive indefinitely.
When the wind thrashes their tents and boats, they know he is coming.
Speaking of PlayStation exclusives, the last big one for PS4 is coming out a few days after Death Stranding comes to PC. Sucker Punch is one of Sony's flagship studios, and they've been quiet since the release of infamous Second Son and the First Light expansion in 2014. Ghost of Tsushima marks their triumphant return with what looks to be the Assassin's Creed game that people have been asking for the better part of a decade. In Ghost of Tsushima, you take the role of Jin, a samurai seeking revenge. You have a massive open world to explore and can approach missions as either a samurai or a ghost, which is basically a ninja. Sekiro Shadows Die Twice was my 2019 Game of the Year and is honestly one of my favorite games of all time, so I was pleased to see that Ghost of Tsushima seems like a very different experience. I'm not thrilled about the 30 FPS frame rate, but Sony exclusives look like they'll be prioritizing visuals over performance even going into the PS5 generation, which is a shame, but the story and gameplay of this one might make me bite the bullet and deal with the choppiness. Ghost of Tsushima arrives exclusively on the PlayStation 4 on July 17th. That's it for this month's episode. If there's any games I've missed which you are excited about this month, let me know in the comments below. And if none of the games I mentioned interest you, check out that comment section. Maybe someone else will have picked up my slack. You can also let me and the rest of the G&G team know what you're playing on geeksandgamers.com. Create a profile, join the forums, and consider becoming a premium member to help us expand and bring you bigger and better content.